Where will humans live after Mars? So, because of the law of accelerating returns, the transition from science fiction to science fact has shorter and shorter adoption cycles, just like it took a generation for the telegraph or radio or whatever, 100 or 200 years ago to be adopted. Now cell phones are adopted in just a few years, the internet just a short period of time, and the rate of change is so quick that some people, that have never had cell phones in developed parts of the world go right to 5G or 4G. So it's a leapfrog and a quick adoption. So people have gotten used to the idea of going to Mars, Elon Musk and NASA, and not that it's definite by any point by any stretch that it's going to work, but there's a lot more focus and attention on it now. So what comes next after Mars? Because every endpoint is just a beginning, obviously. And if you really think about it and free your mind, there's, the reality that Star Trek in many forms could be a reality. There's a lot of technology and things I can get into, but just focusing on space travel for now. I'm reading a fascinating book by the really famous author, Michio Kaku. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly or not, but he's the New York Times best-selling author. And the book I'm reading is The Future of Humanity, and it's subtitled Terraforming Mars, Interstellar Travel, Immortality, and Our Destiny Beyond Earth. That's a big title, but I would say actually The Quest for Immortality, because I'm not sure that we're ever going to actually be able to be immortal, although some people think so. He's written quite a few books, The Future of the Mind, Physics of the Future, and a number of others. And I want to just go to the table of contents. It says Part 1, Leaving Earth. Part 2, Voyage to the Stars. Point 3, Life in the Universe. And I think that, smart people are not sweating the small stuff. You have to sweat the small stuff when you're in a certain domain, but then when you get to a larger domain, you have to free your thinking a little bit to sweat the bigger stuff in that domain. So, for example, when you're making $10,000 a year, it's helpful to count, to keep track of nickels and dimes and dollar bills, and $5 bills. When you're making $100,000 a year, it's good to keep track of $50, $20 to make sure that's being spent well. When you're making $1 million a year, it's good to keep track of, 500 or 1,000. When you're making $1 billion a year, in the future, because you have an AI startup that is or blockchain startup that's 10 times bigger than Amazon, if that happens, then you'll want to track, $5,000 and $10,000 payments and $15,000 payments. So it's the same thing with space travel. When you're thinking about what is the future beyond Mars, it doesn't make sense to be thinking, well, spending 5 hours of my time worrying about whether somebody likes me, that's kind of peripheral to my life, or spending 5 hours thinking about how I'm going to save money on coupons, or spending 5 hours thinking about, is this college better than this college? I mean, there's bigger things to think about. So as our frame of reference gets bigger, we're going to need to start thinking about spending more of our mental attention and faculties on, what is next after Mars? I mean, which planets are, the most feasible, and which solar systems, how are we going to get there? How's that going to affect our families, our lives, our civilizations? So, the bigger things are going to become more and more a focus in the future. And just like, hundreds of years ago, they had to spend their entire mental energy focusing on the crops, and is this crop going to get me 10% more yield or whatever. Now we have supermarkets, and we don't have to think about those things as much.